Thanks. So Ollie and I are with the Bodleian Libraries. Our role is to support academic transition from undergraduates to early career researchers and everything in between. Gail's slides on exploring and investigation of research interests included bullet points around accessing academic literature, finding research, and that is a challenge when you are in a university environment with all the support that entails. And it's even more challenging when you're outside of that. And we've got Ollie here, who's our subject librarian for life sciences. He's an expert in scientific information, finding it. And he's going to share with you some ideas of accessing information when you are outside of that university environment.
Great, thanks very much, James, and lovely to meet you all this morning. So I'm going to cover over the next few minutes things like how to go about finding articles, finding literature when you're outside the university, and that includes articles and books, where you can go to research your topic, the kind of databases, the online sources that you can use, ways to find out about current cutting-edge research, and making use of other library services like local libraries or public libraries that you might have access to. So by way of a bit of context, a little bit about academic publishing. So traditionally, research articles are one of the main ways that scientists communicate their research. So scientists will do their research, write it up as a paper, submit it to an academic journal, and that journal will then publish it. If you then want to read those articles, you have to get access to those journals, and that usually involves paying a fee to the journal. You might get a subscription, or you might pay to view individual articles. Now, if you're in the lucky position of being in a university, we pay those subscription fees to all those journals for you. So if you're in a university, you've got access to this huge wealth of scientific content. If you're outside a university, it's much more difficult. However, over the last 10-15 years or so, there's been a big shift in the way that particularly scientific research is published. A lot of research is now published open access, and basically what this means is that as a reader you can download and read scientific papers for free. There's no subscription fees, there's no charges, you can just look on the internet and get that information. So this has been a big shift, and it means that there's much more peer-reviewed scientific information available to you than there really ever has been before. The tricky bit is finding out where you need to go to find that research. So there are different places that you can go to find sources like articles and books. If you're researching a particular topic for your application, you can go to library catalogues, and in those library catalogues you'll find the printed contents of the library are listed, but also you'll be able to search them usually for free ebooks and for open access articles as well. There are also literature databases, or bibliographic databases as they're sometimes called, that index the scientific literature. Again, some of these you have to pay for, but there are a lot of free databases like PubMed, for example, that you can use to go and find papers on any particular topic that you happen to be interested in. If you're using one of these databases or catalogues, basically you go there and you have hopefully some keywords, some words that are related to the topic that you're interested in. You put those into the database and you can use those to identify articles or books in the database. Most databases then allow you to filter those results in really useful ways. So if you only want to find the most current research, you can say to the database, just give me the last 2 or 5 years worth of material on this topic. You can look for material in specific languages, even particular types of article. You can sort your articles so you can see what's been most recently published or what's been most highly cited by other researchers. And then you can export those results. You can print them out, you can send them to email, or even better, you can put them into a reference manager, which I'll say more about in a moment. For journal articles, there are some really useful places online that you can go to find free open access journal articles. Some journals are completely open access. Everything that they produce is open access and free. More often, journals will publish a mixture of subscription and open access content. So with a particular journal, you may not be able to get access to everything in that journal, but there will be a lot in there that is still open access. The Directory of Open Access Journals is a really useful place to go if you want to find journals that are going to be available to you for free. You can go in there, you can browse by subject, so you can see what's there for earth sciences or biology or physics, or you can search for a specific journal by its title or even an article. There are free databases that you can use to search the journal literature. I mentioned before PubMed. This is particularly useful for finding papers in biomedical or life sciences research. It includes both open access and subscription articles, but there's an option that you can tick in PubMed that will allow you just to filter your results and just to show you that open access content that you can read if you're outside a university. There's an increasing range of books available open access as well. There is a cousin of the Directory of the Directory of Open Access Journals, really imaginatively called the Directory of Open Access Books, and you can use this to find thousands of peer-reviewed academic books, all free to read and download. It's not just sciences; it's all subject areas, but you can browse and filter by particular subject areas. And you can also go and look in a library catalogue as well. Most university library catalogues are free to access over the web, including our own Solo, Search Oxford Libraries Online. When you search the catalogue, it will bring you back both printed books in the collections, but also it will bring you back ebooks. And again, in Solo, you can get Solo to filter out just to show you books that are available to read free of charge. There's also lots of things beyond articles as well that you can look at. So if you're looking at cutting edge research, you want to find out what researchers are doing now, you can look at preprints. So preprints are versions of articles that researchers will put out often before they go to a journal to be formally published. They can be in draft form. They've often not yet been through that peer review process, so you have to be a little bit careful. But they can tell you a lot about what people are working on currently and where kind of the bleeding edge of the research is. These preprints are usually collected onto what we call preprint servers, so things like arXiv, bioRxiv, medRxiv. They're subject focused. You can go onto them and download and read any of the preprints that are on those archives. If you want to look at what other PhD or DPhil students have been doing in the past, you can often now go and download copies of past DPhil theses. If you go to a lot of university websites, a lot of university libraries, you will be able to get free access to those theses. You can see what people have been researching, how they've been writing things up, and what you're letting yourself in for when it comes to writing a thesis. Since about 2008, for example, you can find pretty much all of Oxford's DPhil thesis available free online through our website. There's also things like recordings as well. So a lot of researchers put out things like podcasts, recorded lectures that you can access online, and they can be really good for giving you some background and contextual information. Institutional repositories. Most universities will have an online repository that is designed to showcase the university that takes place at that university. Researchers at the university will put copies of their articles, their book chapters, their conference posters, reports they've written, will go into that repository and you can access them online free of charge. Depending on the university, the repository will be different. At Oxford, we have the University of Oxford Research Archive, but Brookes University have one, the Open University have one, and this will be pretty much the case for most UK universities and many international ones as well. If you want to find out about what researchers are doing, you can search by author in the databases and catalogues that I've mentioned, and you can find their publications. Most researchers maintain web pages on institutional websites. You can go and find what their current list of publications is and what they're doing. And you can check those institutional repositories that I've just mentioned for the latest research output from the university, including things, as I've said, that are not just journal articles, could be things that have gone to conferences and reports as well. Although I've mentioned a lot of open access content and that a lot of scientific research is now freely available, that isn't always the case. You will probably come across articles that you want to read which are not open access. In that situation, you have some options to get hold of those articles. You can often pay to get access to an individual article, but before you do that, check out what's available at your public library. A lot of public libraries in the UK are members of a scheme called Access to Research, and this allows you to access a lot of subscription academic journals for free at your local public library. And if you go to the Access to Research website, you can see if your local public library is included in that scheme. Many public libraries will also offer a document supply or interlibrary loan scheme, so you may be able to borrow books from larger academic libraries and have them brought to your own public library. You may be able to get copies of research articles from subscription journals as well. There will usually be a small fee for that document supply service, although it generally will be a lot less than doing sort of pay-per-view access from the publisher. And if you're lucky enough to live near a local university, check with your local university. A lot of local universities will offer walk-in access for people in the local area, so you'll be able to go into the library, use computers in the library and access a lot of journal and e-books that would normally be subscription only while you're in the library. Policies vary a lot between different universities, so check with your local universities about what they can offer you. While you're doing your research, you'll be finding lots of online sources, your books and your articles, conference papers, things like that, and it's very easy to lose track of everything that you've read. When it comes to writing your proposal, you want to go back and find all those articles that you've looked at. This is where reference management software can come in really useful. So it's special software that allows you to record details of everything that you've looked at, all the sources that you've looked at. And then when it comes to actually doing your writing, they make it much easier to cite those sources and to create reference lists from them as well. There are lots of different reference management packages available. Some of them you have to pay for, some of them are completely free. So Zotero is a very good free reference manager that has features that are very competitive with some of the paid for software. You can go and download it from the web. It's really well supported. There's lots of free learning resources that will tell you how to get started with Zotero that are available online. Okay, so if you want to get more information about any of the things that I've told you about, basically I've given you lots of things that are out there, but I haven't actually shown you how to use any of those resources. So we've put together a set of 4 videos that walk you through things like how to search the directory of open access journals, how to do a search on PubMed so that you can get access to that content. We've put together a reading list of useful websites, including links to all the resources that I've mentioned in the talk, and also links to some of the online training materials as well, like the training materials for Zotero. If you scan the QR code from the slide, that'll get you through to the reading list and through to all of the videos that we've prepared. Okay, so thank you all very much.